we used to be able to spend the night at the teacher's house. Like you can't do that now. Like it ain't no sleepover. Like right?
Girl, no. You used to be able to like go to your coach house and stay over.
Yeah.
Girl, you can't do that no more.
You
People
can't
crazy.
do that. Like you gotta have a whole background check on the entire family. Like
Yes,
times
for
are
sure.
so different.
I'd rather them come over my house and I'll be the soccer mom. I'll be the hangout spot just so I know what y'all doing
Yeah.
versus
Because I know me.
girl, okay?
Right. And then there was even another situation where your aunt was also sexually abusing you.
Absolutely, yeah. So my mom asked her to watch us while she went to work. And she would say, let's play a game, let's play a game. Wait till my mom leaves. And my sister would cry because she would tell my sister, you can't play the game. And so she would sit in front of the door and cry. And the first time she did that, I'm like, oh, okay, Titi Nisha, like I'm excited, until she started to molest me, which is push my face in her vagina. And at first, I'm just like, what is this? I'm like wiping my face. I'm not understanding what's going on.
Right.
And then she continued to do it. And then I would cry and move. And then I would tell her, I don't want to play the game, TT Nisha. I don't want to play the game. Like, and I do, if I can recall right, I do think that my mom ended up finding out about that. I don't know if you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, um, as you know, they were always arguing over my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, he kicked us out. He was dating
Your
my
aunt.
right. So when she would watch us, my mom started to have relations with my grandfather again after he raped my sister. And she left her vaginal juice on my face and let it dry. When my mom picked me up, she said, I told you to stop fucking my man.
Wow.
And all of this sounds like something off a movie, something crazy, I know, but it's reality.
And I think that when you shared the story about what happened to your older sister and like, you was very detailed and you was talking about how your grandma was just crying and stuff and you were trying to figure out how to open a door. I would have thought by then that your mom like something would have clicked.
I there was times like okay, I will say that when we were at home, there would have been times where my mom would say, because her and my dad came from two different worlds as she described it to me. My dad's mom had 5 kids by the time she was 25. You know, and my mom come from a two-parent household. She grew up in Whitehall, Michigan, which is um a town that is like very everybody got a tractor, it's farming,
Oh, one of those.
yeah.
Yeah. On
And
the
she
outskirts.
on the outskirts, went to a predominantly white school. My dad has a whole different story, so I think they exchanged, I guess, wisdom in what it was at that age for them. He gave her some street and she gave him some upright, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that they loved each other because they were so different. That's how she described it to me. And I think he gave her strength. I think he helped her realize who she was because as she told me, he thought she was so beautiful. He thought she was gorgeous. And so when she shared things with him, he told her that he was going to protect her and be there for her.
And
And
then when he died,
then because when she got pregnant and it was a girl, she said, I wasn't going to keep her. I told your dad I was not going to keep her because I was nervous. I didn't want things to happen to her. And he said, have my baby. Ain't nothing going to happen to my baby. We're only 18 months apart. So she get pregnant right, back to back. And then 8 months after she has me, he dies. So it's not like my dad and my grandfather was kumbaya in the kitchen. No, they didn't get along. They didn't really talk at all. Um,
yeah.
because my dad seen him for who he was.
Do you think that the reason why your mom allowed this to happen is because you are a physical manifestation of the life she thought she would have had with your father?
I think there was some jealousy there. I think that my mom was trained to depend on someone. I think she learned how to be independent on her own. But that is how that is why my grandmother is still with my grandfather for security, right? So I think maybe that's why she stayed because, stayed in the situation because she was young with two kids,
Right.
and she never really had to. He was teaching her some hustle. She didn't have that because she grew up in a farmy town and she had two parents in her home. Now, I'm not saying that makes it perfect. I'm not saying that she didn't have things happen to her. But what I am saying, when you grow up in that way and you don't grow up around your people, it takes the culture out of you and you don't always handle things maybe the way you should, if that makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
Right. Now, what do you remember about the day when you found out you were pregnant?
I remember going downstairs and my mom. Okay, so to help you understand a few things on how I even got pregnant and all that, my period started in fifth grade in health class at Oakview Elementary in Miss Dawsey's class. I'll never
Mm-hmm.
forget it. All the boys went to Mr. Alcorn's class, all the girls went to her. Now, as she's telling us about this, thank you, God, because that's how I learned. My sister started hers, and my mom talked under her clothes. They made it seem like a bad thing. They laughed at her. They just made it seem like a bad thing. The reason why is because when the girl starts her period, you have to stop touching her,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I hid mine, right? So that's how the pregnancy came because I'm like I'm not gonna tell anybody. Um I'm not gonna tell my mom or anybody because I don't want them to talk about me. I don't want, So I, if you live in a house with women, you recognize what they do when they're on their cycle. So I
Right.
started doing those things. And I remember I left something in the bathroom and she's like, "Whose is this?" And I blamed it on my sister, but I'm not sure if she knew it was me or not. But um, so I don't think she did because she would have said something. She would have because she knew what they were doing when they was coming in my room. So I think she suspected it. So anyway, one day I come down the stairs. She's like, "Come here," and she's like, "Come closer," because I have been sleeping a lot.
Mm.
Things had to start changing with me, and so she she said, "I think you're pregnant. Are you pregnant?" She kind of asked herself while asking me, like, "Are you pregnant?" And I'm like, "Pregnant? Why would I be pregnant?"
Did you even understand
No,
how?
I didn't understand why she was okay. I started to get weary of my mom because of that moment, but I didn't understand why she was asking me that because I never thought that my mom would allow someone to do that.
But did you understand at that time, like, because I know you were young, like that having sex can lead to pregnancy? Like nobody ever explained that
Yes,
to you.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm still very reserved sometimes and shy, but at that time, there's no way I'm still watching That's So Raven. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're a kid.
Yeah, I'm not even into any of that.
So
We
I can
still.
see why I never thought that you would be pregnant.
No, girl, I'm shy to give. You know how we was passing notes in between classes back
Like
in the
circle
day?
yes or no.
Yeah,
Right.
like what? This is
That's
like
why I'm like the psyche of a 12-year old. Like you thinking that you just tired.
exactly. And then we didn't even have like Facebook or none of that back then. It was just
Right.
social interaction at school. So I take the pregnancy test and now they're in a frenzy because they're like, "Oh my goodness." Why she's like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me?" And I'm like, because of what you did to my sister. Like, I said it because like you made it seem like such a bad thing. So I'm probably at the most, maybe, I don't know, 90 pounds back then.
Right.
Not sure what time, how many months I was when she found out. I don't recall it. But at this point, she's trying to figure out what to do because you can't take a 12-year-old to an abortion clinic to get the baby out because you're going to go to jail. You damn
Exactly.
sure,
Because how
damn
did
sure
she
can't.
get pregnant?
Exactly. Damn sure can't take her to the hospital. So what are you gonna do?
Mm.
There's nothing to do but to have the baby.
Wow. And were you still going to school? Like, did nobody notice that you were showing?
No. So it was every morning I would get up, she would wrap this thick turban. It would be like saran wrap, and then on top of that, like a thick turban, kind of like what they wear on their heads. But she would wrap it, and I was already little. And in 2005, nobody looking for no 12-year-old to be pregnant. Like that's not even a thing, you know.
Right.
So and I remember just kept asking like how am I pregnant? I've never had sex before. How am I pregnant? And she's like, you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. I'm gonna go to jail. Da, da, da. She just made it such a big deal because at first they're like, we can't send her to school. Like we can't send her to school.
But then you miss school, that'll be a whole nother situation.
Exactly.
Godly. So she delivered the baby at the house.
And then that leads us to OBGYN. So went to her, got a full exam done. She said there's no way that you were not pregnant. And she was like, everything that you described that, has happened to you, I can see the damage in your vaginal area and your uterus. And she took it was like a white stick that, like a camera, and we're looking at it. And so she's like, okay, now you have to take a FSG pregnancy test to see if you can even have kids because of what I see. So I got that documentation together, got the polygraphs together, and then I went to the police because I'm like, where the fuck is my daughter at this point? We know that.
I gave birth. Do you remember
Right.
giving birth?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. On 1956 Hudson Street in Muskegon, Michigan, upstairs with the room with the purple carpet, if it's still up there. Yes, in my Tinkerbell room, I did.
And you gave birth. Now we a couple of days, couple of weeks into the pregnancy, to the baby actually being here, and then the baby just disappears.
And you know what?
That's so fucking crazy, yo.
What's crazy?
Baby.
What's crazy is I'm thinking, because I don't know if you heard me say that I had her, and she was in the middle of me and my mom. My
Your
mom
mom was holding her.
Right.
Right.
And someone said, I know that you probably still have some sort of care. She was like, because baby, your mama didn't have love for you or that baby. She was like, your mama was making you comfortable so they can come and take the baby, making you feel like, oh, I care, I'm going to be here for you. And then boom, you wake up and your baby just gone. She was just making you comfortable. And so I'm like, she's like, you have to understand your mom is the things that she do and the things that she let go on. There's no way that she has no street mind. She know how to move, but she's doing it smart, and she used your love for her to manipulate you and to
Well, that's what was
protect
done
her.
to her.
Exactly.
She learned at a very young age, so
Yeah.
she ain't new to this. She knew exactly what to do.
Absolutely.
Because the fact that she delivered a whole baby and she's not even a doctor, it's just like wow. And then I'm assuming once you deliver the baby, you having this baby, you go back to school like nothing happens.
And then, well, I went through a hard time at first. So, mind you, I'm going through postpartum and puberty at the same time.
So
And
your emotions as a kid is times 20.
all over the place. And they're saying, there is no baby. What are you talking about? So imagine someone playing, and this is the time where you are molding your human, right? When it comes to um, everything, helping them grow up.
Yeah,
So
emotional intelligence.
right. You're playing on her mind. You're taking her brain and poking at it.
So now
Because
you're doubting yourself. Like, did I even have a baby?
exactly. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. I'm just gonna move on. And so that was easier for me to accept than to keep bothering. And then it got to the point where she's like screaming, like, you didn't have a fucking baby. What the fuck are you talking about? Just going off. So, I just decided, okay, maybe I'm tripping. I didn't have a baby because they were playing on my mind so much, making me feel I was crazy, no, honey. And then we find her moving forward.
So how did you connect with the private investigator?
So, he was already.
Wait, I know niggas listen to this story like, wait a minute.
Yes.
They like, so we found the baby.
Yes. So, he was all over the internet at first. Well, actually, not really. He was getting a buzz, because he is known for doing retrievals for women in sex trafficking, um, and he is also known for being a celebrity bodyguard for multiple different celebrities. I reached out to him because I saw him. I think I saw him on a news station, and I saw one of his interviews, and I'm like, maybe he can help me. And so he did first. He got like a thorough background check. Asked me a bunch of questions. Excuse me, addresses I remember. Just a bunch of different things. And so the background check took about 2 weeks. And then he reached back out to me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just continued to get to know each other. He wanted to know more about the story. I gave him very detailed information. And then he called me back and said, "Hey, your daughter's in Detroit. She's with two gay men, and she's 17. She's, if not 18
She's
now."
17?
Yes, this is her senior year of high school.
But wait,
And
also,
so
you also mentioned that these two gay men are also pedophiles.
from what, yes. So, and what's interesting is, so when I first connected with him, my emotions were so high. When
Right.
I knew that he located her, my emotions were so high. And he's like, "Listen, I don't think it's a good thing for you to speak directly to anyone. I think you need to have a middleman because your emotions and you being all over the place, and not even really
Child, you
all over
gonna
the
whoop
place."
somebody's ass.
Okay, girl, yes. So I'm like,
So
and
you need
I
to
told
stay
him, I
right.
said, "Give me the address. I just want the address of where she at. I'll pull up."
How did he find her? I mean, obviously this is what he does, but like, and how do you know that's your child?
So he works with people who works with the, like, that has worked with the government, basically. Okay,
Mm.
he has helped people, higher up, upper echelon people, help find their kids, help even if it's just like a runaway, like, "I'm mad, I'm about to run away." He's done it all. So he has a lot of different resources. And plus him being in the industry and him, having those resources has helped him a lot as well. Um so I know Rhonda, I think her name is Rhonda. I don't know her last name, but she's very well known on the internet for helping track women. He works with her, and he has a whole team that he works with that helps him. But the last thing that needs to happen is a DNA test.
Right. And do you believe this is your child?
From what I've, and I do know her name. I know, so I haven't, some things I don't put out there to protect her, to protect
Absolutely.
the situation. But from the things that I do know, yes. And just to put it out there, I think, if not anything, that her name, and if she ever hears this, that her name is so perfect and it fits her. It fits her. If she is my daughter, it fits her perfectly.
Mm. Wow. How do you think she got with the two gay dudes?
Illegal adoption.
Mm.
I think it was some weird things going on. But from my understanding, it was willingly. They willingly gave her to them. It was a willingly thing. It wasn't something to where they took her or anything like that.
And how does he know that they're pedophiles? Like, do they have a record?
I didn't even honestly, I don't even know. I don't know how he knows for a fact that they're pedophiles. Uh,
Right.
but
And then another thing that I know you haven't spoken on before, but she's also a part of a satanic church.
yes, yes, yes. Um, it's overwhelming to hear that
Yeah,
because um
she's definitely covered though.
what is overwhelming is I remember taking trips to Detroit. I remember the church. He's like, "Do you remember it's a windmill?" And I started to remember certain things, but I don't remember like being like praising the devil. But I do remember little things like when I told you that when they do fornicate and do things, it's called indulging, and I identified that with demonic culture.
So they all are part of the same community.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow, now it makes sense.
Hmm. So that's why when I in the 5-part series, when I say like I was being followed and there was some weird things going on, um a lot of these people aren't just people that are just not doing anything with their lives. And we all know people in certain positions and have certain roles, they can things can happen. And then not even that. I'm 12. So what control do I really have over where a baby goes or what happens? It's so easy to run over. It was so easy to get over on me when in that situation because I had no power, I had no voice. And then when I do get a voice, look at what they're doing. If anything, I would be withstanding with my daughter. I would be standing with my niece. Um, I wouldn't be trying to bash. I wouldn't be trying to go up against her or any of that. So I think that all of that just speaks volumes as well.
So are you waiting for her to turn 18 to make initial contact?
So honestly, to be completely honest with you, all of these things like the PI, even keeping it going costs money. And so that's one thing. And then the number two, I'm in this whole from August until now, I transferred to TSU. So I've been doing interviews, I've been trying to find my daughter, and then I've been finding out. I think that people don't understand when you find out things like this is her name, that's a breakdown moment. That's a moment where I'm on the floor crying. She's in a
Yeah,
satanic church. That ain't just like, oh, okay, she's in a satanic church. No, that's a now I'm my heart is broken. That's a bad day for me. So
it's a lot.
it's a lot. And so so what I've been trying to do is I told myself I'm going to get through this school year, I'm going to let her finish her senior year, and then we're going to come back to this because I wasn't doing good in school. It was affecting me, and I'm
How
like,
could you?
yeah. And I'm like, how everything can't be going wrong, and the things that can go right are the things that need to go right, especially if those things are going to put me in positions later, right? Me
Yeah.
being depressed, me being sad, me trying to find my daughter is one thing, but I have to be able to show her something. I have to be able to set an example for her, and I can't just say fuck school because that's what I wanted to do. My mind was on a whole different path,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
this second semester, I'm like, I had to buckle down. So I'm like, I can't put all my focus there right now.
I'm gonna
Have
connect
to,
you with some people.
please.
Yeah, I'm gonna connect you with some people and I'm gonna also connect you with my therapist. And even though I'm not a fan of these, I do believe in certain cases like this is necessary. You need to start a GoFundMe account.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
Oh, baby, if I was you, I would have been had that GoFundMe account ready. I'm telling you, with all this attention and support that you're receiving, you need as much support and resources as possible. So by the time this come out, when I'm gonna give you a heads up, you need to have that account ready.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
getting
I'm
on this today.
serious. You need to have it
Me
ready
too,
because you can't do this by yourself. You need your community to step up and support you.
absolutely.
Because now
And
you have a bigger family that's willing to be there for you.
absolutely, and that makes me so happy. That is one of the joys. I was nervous about saying all of this, and to be honest with you, I started my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted a YouTube channel. I've always wanted a YouTube channel, and my first video was about my father. It's about not having a father growing up, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my first video to have substance, to be about something. And what inspired me was my hometown, which is Muskegon, Michigan, and they
What up,
inspired
though?
me. Yeah, shout out to Muskegon. They inspired me because it was a lot of killing going on in my hometown. A lot of Black young kings were dying, and I'm like, people not even realizing what they're doing to these little girls.
Yeah.
Little girls without fathers are not protected. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was so nervous and so shy. And there was actually another YouTuber who I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do this, and he like, no, you need to pick the camera up. You need to do this.
I'm telling you.
And so shout out to Joe T. Baker because he's
Mm-hmm.
one of the YouTubers. He does stories, and also if you haven't checked out Traps, go check out Traps. He has a series on Tubi, but yes, he was like, you should just do it, pick it up. And I was like, I was trying to find my niche, and he was like, just post a bunch of different videos and see what people like
Yeah.
want from you.
Market
And so,
research.
yeah, so I continue to do that, and I'm happy I did, and I'm happy I stayed consistent. And I wasn't even as consistent as I wanted to be, but I'm happy that I stayed the course, because if I just gave up, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because my story would have never gotten out there.
Yeah.
So I just want to say to any Black queen, whatever it is that you want to do, start it, do it. The only thing can happen is a lesson, because failure is just a lesson. And it's not,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to give up.
If your daughter was listening to this episode right now, what do you want her to take away from y'all's story? Because she is a part of your story.
Yes. Oh, my daughter was listening to her right now, listening to me right now. I would tell her that I love her. I would tell her that I am fighting for her. I would tell her that I'm never going to stop fighting for her. And that everything that, even when she feels like maybe that I've forgotten, or I'm not focused on her, everything that I do is for her. And I
Yeah.
can't wait to see her, and that she's beautiful, and hold her head high.
Yeah. Do you
Yes.
ever think about if when the relationship starts that it may be triggering for you?
Um, I've thought about that a lot. I think that it won't be triggering for me. I think it will be eye-opening, and I think it will be a joy. I'm so I don't want to go into the relationship
Hmm.
sad, or like, oh, this happened to us, and
Right.
we are warriors. We are survivors,
Listen, one
girl.
thing we gonna do is survive and fight, okay?
Because one thing about it, and two things for sure, you were born at home. You didn't have to survive either. So you strong.
Yeah.
You are strong. So if you listen to this, you got my blood in you. You strong.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with your mind and your body today after everything you endure? Because I feel like, and you obviously you're gonna correct me, but I can only imagine how challenging it may be for you to navigate being intimate with other people.
Um, it has been a challenge. I feel like sexually, I've never really been like, to be honest with you, I didn't have an orgasm until I was like 28.
Yeah.
And so, and I think, and I don't know if that's normal for women or not, but I think that is because I never really, I've always had a high sex drive, but never felt comfortable enough with people. Now, don't get me wrong, it was always consensual with, with the person I was with, but
Right.
I felt like I wasn't opening up. And I'm thinking, like, I felt like me not dealing with all of this is the reason why, because I had so much sexual trauma that
Hmm.
I didn't realize how much it did affect my sex life. And I think that learning that I'm a sapiosexual too, like, the one of the reasons why you are having a hard time is because that man he ain't on your intellect. So
Right.
you trying to connect with somebody and intertwine with somebody who ain't even here with you. And
Hmm.
everybody don't need that. But for me to be fulfilled, I need that piece first. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And then another thing that I love about your story is how you spoke about your relationship with God.
Absolutely.
And you never was angry with him. You always knew that he was a pivotal role in your survival. Talk about that, because you also during your story you talk about how you was like in a mental institution or something, and you were saying how God needed to place you there to confirm that you were not crazy.
Girl, when
And
I
I
tell you,
said, baby,
girl, when I tell you, that was the most humbling experience I've ever had. So, how I got there. Let's
right.
start there. How I got there. Um, I was at the hospital. That
Mm-hmm.
is when she had just told me, like, hey, you have to do a FSG pregnancy test. Do the to the damage I see. I don't know if you're gonna be able to have kids. Now, that was overwhelming information for me, because I always wanted to be a mother. And someone has taken a gift that God has given to me, and I'm not even able to use it. Like, I was just devastated. I started having a panic attack. I called my dad's mom. I called my grandmother. I'm crying. I'm shaking. she said, I don't want you to drive. I want you to sit and calm down first because you don't need to drive so shaken up. My phone
Right.
dies. When my phone dies, she calls the police to the doctor's office because she thinks like, oh my goodness, I don't want her. She's freaking out. So my phone ended up cutting back on. I call my aunt and my grandmother is together at this point. They we go in the room and they say, hey, she, where we don't think she's gonna be able to have kids, but she needs to take this test. And then they printed out the documentation of, hey, she told me this is what happened to her. That's exactly what I see from the damage, just, breaking everything down to my grandmother and my aunt. I'm still freaking out. I go to the hospital just to give my grandmother peace of mind, get checked
Right.
out. I go home. I'm in the midst of this. I'm working full time and I'm finishing up my associate's degree. I graduate in about 6 months at this point. So I live alone too, and I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan, pretty much by myself.
Right.
So I'm having panic attacks. I'm having anxiety attacks because I deal with high and extreme anxiety. So I have anxiety attacks, and so they're like, okay. I went to the hospital twice. The third time, they're like, okay, if you're saying all these things happen to you, we want you to get evaluated, not because we think something is wrong with you,
But how
but
are you able to just deal with all of
yeah,
this?
like how are you
Right.
navigating right now? And so I called my mom. My mom said she was gonna come out. And they said, okay, we're not gonna have you go to, like, if your mom is gonna come here, we're not gonna have you go to any hospital. We'll have your mom come get you and she can decide what, you guys can decide that together. So she says, no, I think she should go. I think you guys should. So she agreed. They either said it's up to you. They told us up to you. And she said, go ahead. So now I'm angry that I'm thinking like, okay, maybe my mom cares a little bit. She said she was going to come out here. You only coming out here because you know that I'm around professionals speaking on things you don't want me to speak about. So now you want,
Mm.
So anywho, I go there. I get there and they put me in a room, take my shoestrings out of my shoes, take my hair ties out of my hair. They're asking me all these questions. And like, do I want to kill myself? Which I've worked in as a police clerk before, so I know that's protocol. You're gonna have to ask those questions.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself, I have a roommate. I know that I'm not crazy, and I'm sitting like, how did I go from being told that I can't have kids, and I'm telling my story too. My story got me into a psych ward. Like I'm not, okay. So they're like, your roommate is quiet, she's cool, but I'm thinking like, girl, we is in the psych ward. Ain't that much quiet in the world, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking like quiet, that means you is a little. So I'm looking around the room at what I can find if she get a little out of hand. I'm being honest with
Right. To protect yourself.
you. Exactly. So I told myself I'm not sleeping in the room with her because I don't know you. And you went here for something I don't know. But I know I'm not crazy.
Right.
Now, one of the reasons why I was having anxiety attacks and panic attacks is because I was calling my family, expressing how I feel. Oh, making me feel like I was crazy. So now I'm at home with no one to talk to, battling my own thoughts, which is sending me into these because no one just, is keeping it real. They want me to think I'm crazy. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like my mom said, go ahead, get there. I didn't sleep in the room with the girl. I stayed up. I didn't, mind you, I'm leaving the hospital to going to the psych ward. I go there in the ambulance. So I barely got any sleep. So I'm going on day 2, no sleep. I get there around 4:30, the doctors are leaving. So they're like, we have to evaluate you. If we evaluate you and you're good, we'll send you home. Oh, the doctors are gone. You have to wait till tomorrow. So now I have to stay overnight. It's to the point to where I'm blending in so good with the staff that the patients are asking me, can I go get some water? Can I go? So even the staff is like, why is she here? You don't seem like you need to be here at all. So at this time, I'm doing good in school. I'm like, hey, I have a 3.5 GPA. I am working full time. At the time, I was working at a furniture store.
Like nothing's wrong with me.
Nothing's wrong with me. And so I meet the doctor. Actually, before the doctor comes, my mom and my grandmother and my family come up to the psych ward, and they're going off and all of this, and they're like, well, you can't see her until tomorrow, visiting hours are over. So she causes a big scene. They end up letting her come back. Me and her get into an argument because I'm like, look, you're fucking with my school, you're fucking with my job, my money. I was never supposed to be in here anyway, and there's nothing wrong with me. No. So she's trying to get me out of character at this point. The lady said, if there's anything that's wrong with her, you caused it. They left. The doctor comes in. He talks to me. He told me that he is proud that I'm even navigating because there's so many women that come in and out that have the same story.
This story breaks a lot of people.
Yes, he said, he was giving me resources. He said, I believe you 1,000,000%. He said, I'm releasing you today. Sent my professors letters, so I can get my work, my job. He made sure I was fine. And he said, I agree with the front desk. Whatever is wrong, they caused it. He said, you don't need to be locked up in a psych ward. He said, if anything, you need outpatient therapy, but to be locked up and be restrained and not be able to just go about your daily activities and what you need to do, that doesn't need to happen. I continued on and I graduated April 25th, and that was that. And so, but when I got home, and honestly, being in an environment like that, it changes you. I didn't even need to. I could imagine how a prison is, because these people are people who don't get a choice to walk out of the door. They have done things to where, like, I had to fight my way up out of there. I had to talk my way and fight my way and out of there, right? And so I told myself, everyone, my family, people I'm talking to, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. God says, trust me, trust you. You have to trust yourself first. If I say these things happen to me, I remember these things. I have a visual of these things.
Right.
And my body is speaking to me. And the person on the phone, I think the most fucked up thing that was messing me up is, these are people that I love. They're like, you're lying, you're crazy, And this is Stockholm syndrome at its best, because it's not even love, right? I was taught to love you, not to tell on you, right? And so, and then you're using drugs and you're doing different things, and it's clouding my memory. It's a lot of things that go into play when it comes to this. So just a lot, girl.
We're almost finished, but one thing I was a little confused on is, how did the military get involved?
Okay, good question. So, so I leave the psych ward and I say, God had to put me in a place where people don't have a sound mind, so I can see visually. He know his child. He know I'm a visual learner. He said, I have to show you what crazy look like, so you can see you okay, right? So I said, okay. I get home, I pray, I get myself together. I said, you know what, God, just to put the cherry on top, I'm gonna go to the best polygraph examiner in Michigan. He's been a detective for over 40 years. He's been all throughout the state of Michigan, all throughout the United States. He's been on Dr. Phil. His resume is out of this world. And I said, I want 𝐻𝐿 to do my polygraph. Pass with flying colors. Go get the documentation from my OBGYN. Take it to the Muskegon Police Department. Also contact JAG, which is the police, the military police, and it goes from there. They fly out. Detective Allegra from the military, she flew out, and we did an extensive interview. She already came prepared. She did a lot of research before meeting me, so she came with CPS cases that she found. She came with old statements from teachers that she found. So there was things there. She also asked them to take a polygraph. Mind you, I paid for mine on my own. This was outsourced. The military said they wanted to give one to him because he's in the military.
Right.
And they declined. They said they did not want to take one. They declined. And so she said that they were going to pick up the case. So she said that she could not fully investigate the case because it happened in Michigan, in Muskegon. So she contacted the detectives in Muskegon. I think it was Detective Anderson and Detective. Not sure it was three of them, but she said they were going to work together. So until the case was solved, and then I was working with the Muskegon Police Department that whole summer. I moved to Texas, and I think that is when they were like, I feel like they kind of gave up on me in a sense because I'm like, I got to get to school, I'm trying to work this out. And they're like, oh, just go to school, basically just move on from it, just because I don't really feel like they wanted to investigate it. And when I was talking to the detective, he wasn't really attentive. He was like, because like I said, it was a lot of murdering going on in my city. So he's like, I'm not trying to be funny, but this just happened and this just happened, and so it really made
That's
me
so
mad.
insensitive.
It is, and he
And this is why Black and brown people don't come out and tell their stories.
exactly, and so it was just a lot. And so as I'm preparing to move, it was like they were kind of waiting on that. Now, one of the things, and if people don't know, and you're from Michigan, they have an Adult Survivors Act. So that means that, just say you got raped and you're rushing home to go tell your parents, and you get in a car accident and lose your memory and you don't remember, and then you remember listening to Jagged Edge on your way, and that song
And
pops
they
in your
trigger
head
you
and it triggers you and you remember, then you can
or
still
triggers a
fight that.
memory.
Yep,
Right.
you can still fight that with the Adults Survivors Act, and then you have 3 years after you tell the police to continue to fight it. So just say you tell them about the story and you say, I don't really want to do it right now. You have 3 years after the fact.
So where's your stepfather at now?
He's still in the military, which everyone is wondering how is that so, especially when the military themselves asked him, hey, we want to do a polygraph. Now, Allegra did say she could not force him to do one. She said she believes me wholeheartedly, but she could not force him to do one. Now, how he's still active with these allegations, with the polygraph, with him denying one, I don't know. And then we also, I don't know if you saw I think it's in part 3, my grandmother is admitting that he touched one of his own kids. So
And how many kids does he have?
2.
And does he have any with your mom?
2. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was a situation that happened. I'm not gonna disclose her
Right.
name to protect my sister, but she came home and she was about maybe 3, and she was pointing and saying things, and
3 years old.
yeah, and I said, didn't she come home that day and say this? And she said, yeah, he did. And so now I'm thinking to myself, and I'm a kid myself. She's 3, I'm probably 10, you know. No. Yeah, I'm about 10. And so I'm only what, third grade? So I'm angry. I'm crying because I always wanted to protect my sisters. I'm a protector. That is me. I may not be the oldest, but I've always wanted to protect. And so
Right.
we have an audio of her admitting that those things were said. But it's not like she doesn't know. Like, my grandmother knows about even the guy that my mom was in a relationship previously to the man she's married to now. That's who my sister's story is connected to. So, in my mind, I even go to the depth of thinking, did she say, okay, I let him touch your sister, so now now it's your turn, type of deal? Like, what was this?
Or if it was done to me, why it can't happen to you?
Right, and that's why I don't respect her, because if it happened to me and I can still open my mouth and say whatever, and say,
Right.
hey, this is not going to happen. So where was your fight? Where was but then one would say, okay, she had 2 kids 18 months apart, probably going through some type of postpartum. Her family fucked up. And then the person who tried to save her dies.
Mm.
Her mental state, where is she now? I give my mother grace during that time, because I can only imagine falling in love, having 2 kids, and then saying I love you, see you when I get home, and then you die. So I give her grace, but when I stop giving her grace is And I don't think I'll ever not give her grace on that. But when you start having children, getting remarried, going out, having a good time, you're navigating well enough to be to know what you're doing, to know what's right and wrong.
Right.
So, and even now, like the fact that she's not standing with me says a lot. Any other mother, that polygraph would have been enough. Just the fact that you passed that would have been enough to have me in a frenzy. How? Why?
Right.
You know, the OBGYN, no one's risking their license for you. No one is risking their schooling, their license, their careers to lie on these people, you know. So the documents that I have, they're official, the people are official, and my truth is not up for debate, you know.
Yeah. So what does forgiveness look like for you? Or do you even want forgiveness at this point?
You know, forgiveness to me looks like moving on.
Yeah.
Forgiveness looks like moving on. I do not plan to mend anything with these people. I do not plan to be around them. It's pretty much they're non-existent to me, and I am moving on and I am healing. Forgiveness takes time. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight, and due to the severity of these situations and everything that's happened, that's going to take time. So forgiveness right now to me just looks like moving on and persevering through everything and continuing on to be successful.
Yeah. I'm super proud of you, sis. I'm really am. Despite
Thank
everything that
you.
you've been through, you still look good, brown skin for the win. Like you in school, you handling your business. Like this has broken a lot of people. So the fact that you are still here in sound mind it says a lot. So,
Yes.
definitely give yourself some grace when it
Yes.
comes to certain things. Cause it's hard out here. You being a single woman, you figuring things out. That's why you got to get this GoFundMe account started so we can support you.
Absolutely, girl. I'm gonna do it as soon as we get off. And I didn't want to seem. I'm a person that is headstrong, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get on here and ask for a But now it's to the point to where no, I probably should, because dealing with, especially because I'm a woman dealing with two men that are the parents, is I need some type of, like, that's a lot for me because I'm mad too. You know,
Yeah, and then
I'm mad.
also we want to at least get you to have a relationship with your child.
Exactly, exactly. And I just want to say this too, um, to mothers. As an aunt, I'm not a mom yet, but the closest thing, as an aunt and as a woman, always choose your kids, because as they get older and the fun parts is watching them have their own children in their own life, and just becoming something. You don't want to miss out on that. And a man is got not guaranteed, but your child's love is always guaranteed. So
Yeah,
always choose your kids, because guess what? The way God works is when you choose your kids, He's gonna send you a man that chooses you. Because a man that chooses you would never want your baby. If anything, he gonna protect your baby. He ain't gonna want your daughter. He ain't even gonna look at her like that. So choose your kids, and when you sacrifice that, and when you choosing your kids and you sacrificing that time, go to school, get you a foundation, get yourself together. If you don't like school, do hair. Just find something to help you um, set a foundation for your kids. And I'm telling you, God will send you someone that is just for you. And for the women who are like me, who have a story like mine, don't give up. Keep fighting. You are beautiful. You are strong. Every day
mm-hmm.
when I have a hard day, I look myself in the mirror and I remind myself who I am. Who I am. And I am a queen. I am God's child. And no matter what happens to me in this
That's a
world, I
fact.
am covered in the blood of Jesus Christ. And so, with that being said, no matter what I'm going through, I strap my shoes on tight and I walk out the door and I keep fighting. So that's what you should do.
Amen. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm gonna definitely keep in contact with you. I'm gonna definitely support you. Hopefully stay with you on your journey so you can get your graduation from the quote unquote air quotes, y'all, the real TSU.
Yes.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing how your story blossom, because I think you have a beautiful story and it's a testament of how God has always been with you. So
Absolutely. And I just want to let everyone know, too, I do have a tour coming up.
Okay.
Yes, it's with Tara Brim. And so we'll be hitting a bunch of different cities. So just make sure you guys look on my YouTube or look on my Instagram channel for that. My
And keep me
Instagram.
posted.
Yes, I definitely will. You should
Yeah.
come out for
No, I'm
sure.
gonna come for sure. If you come into the tri-state area, let me know for sure and I come out, pull up.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, sis. I really appreciate this. And to the listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure to email me at hello@thephgpodcast.com. I believe this conversation was the epitome of what I always say about the professional homegirl. You never know how your storyline could be somebody else's lifeline. So until next time, everyone, later. You ain't gonna say bye?
Bye. Oh girl, I know how I know if you was done with your closing, but thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to my story. If you're going through anything, let me be an inspiration. And I will not give up. I'll never give up. So if you don't have anybody that you feel like you can look at to inspire you, just keep watching me because I'm not gonna stop.
Okay. Period.
Period.
Later.
Later.